Closed captions is still on. All right, no more closed captions. All right, we need to get going. Stop playing with the baby. All right. I have one over here too. And I actually want to because that's my granddaughter, but I can't. I got to work right now, so I don't get to play. We got a lot to cover. We're in a series called Real Relationships. I got your Bibles. Open up to, I want to start here this morning. 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 18. And the one thing I want us to come to understand and come to know is that the influence of our family is huge, absolutely huge, when it comes into our relationships. And not even relationships in our future of husband-wife or parent-child. It actually really blends into all the different relationships. You guys can come closer if you want. Make a new row or whatever you need. You don't have to sit at the back. Okay, that's cool. When you come to 2 Kings and what you find with the kings, there's only a handful out of all the kings you find in the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Now, this is after, you have King Saul, King David, you have Solomon, and it's a united kingdom. North and south are united. When King Solomon dies, his sons split the kingdom. There's the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And so now you have these two kingdoms. And what you find until really into the New Testament is that you have these two kingdoms until finally go into captivity, Assyrian captivity for the north, Babylonian captivity for the south. But you find these series of kings, but there's only a handful of good kings. Because what you find is they will say, and this person came to power and they did what their father did, right? So go to 2 Kings chapter 18. In the third year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began his reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Abi, and the daughter of Zechariah. And he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to that David, his father, has done. Now, what's interesting is, what's the problem there? David's not his dad. Who's his dad? I read it fast, but who's his dad? Ahaz. Well, Ahaz, if you look at him, is a horrible king. He follows false gods, false religion, false worship. And so when he leaves what his father raised him to be, and he goes, now I'm following what God wants us to do, he says, he goes back to David.
Where are you at?
2 Kings chapter 18. Sorry. I do that all the time. If it's not there, just go to the second one. If I'm not there, go to the third one, if there's a third John. So he removed the high places, broke down the pillars, cut down the Asherah, okay? And they broke into pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made, for until those days the people of Israel made offerings to it. It's interesting, what saved the people turned into a thing of worship. That's another sermon. I don't have time. He trusted in the Lord, God of Israel, and there was none like him among the kings of Judah after him, nor among those who were before him. He held fast to the Lord. He did not depart from following him. He kept his commandments, and that the Lord had commanded Moses. Verse 7 is important. That when you do this, this is what happens. And the Lord was with him, and whatever he went out, he prospered. Now, this is the story that when you go a little further, Hezekiah is a fantastic king. Sennacherib, he's going to come down and he's going to try to take over Jerusalem. He surrounds Jerusalem. What's the cool part of the story? How does God save his people? It's one of the coolest stories you're going to find. Old Testament. Dad, don't answer. Anybody else? Because he's smiling at me. That's why I'm not even looking at him, because he knows the answer. What is one of the coolest stories that you find within these pages? Just turn the pages in the Bible, you'll find the story. How does God save them? All right. Come on. Go to chapter 19. It's not there. Yes, it is. Isaiah is going to prophesy Sennacherib's fall. When you come down to verse 35. And when that night the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. And when the people arose early in the morning, they saw what? Dead bodies. Right? Come on, that's not cool. You guys are just like, it's a good story, John, just a good story. Because he was faithful to God, God was faithful to him and delivered him. Out of something that they should have lost, God shows up. Now, here's something I want you to see. Hezekiah is going to die. We don't have time to walk through his whole life, blah, blah, blah. Then you come down to Amon. It's his son. Tell me about Amon. Verse 19 of chapter 21. He was 22 years old when he began to reign in Jerusalem. He reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was that person. And tell me what it says here in verse 20 and 21. Actually, 22. Somebody read 20 through 22.
He did evil in the eyes of the Lord as his father Manasseh had done. He followed completely the ways of his father, worshiping the idols his father had worshipped, and bowing down to them. He forsook the Lord, the God of his ancestors, and did not follow him.
So you have a phenomenal dad, but he leaves, right? Now, who's the next king? It's really good. One of the last good king you're going to find. It's Josiah. Yeah, how old is he when he becomes king? 8. When you read, he goes back and he claims his father to be David as well. And he goes back. What you normally find, I'm kind of showing you that what you normally find is father-son kind of keeps following the same track. That's why there's so many bad kings in the northern and southern tribes, right? Because the father just kind of teaches the son and they kind of continue that on. I showed you this is that what we're going to talk about today is one of two things. Your family is going to have an impact in your relationships. It doesn't mean it has to be that way, meaning you can follow what your father or your parents did, or you can make a change. That's why I'm using Hezekiah and Josiah this morning. The question is, what are you going to do? But the one thing that we need to do, and what this whole point of this class is to open our eyes and see what's really going on within relationships. How do we see those relationships? How do we look at them and say, hey, now I realize this has had this kind of impact on me. How do I make a change, or how do I build upon that? Are you with me?
Yes.
There are 2 pots of coffee. Drink it black. I don't care how you drink it. Just start drinking it. All right? All right, we're going to go through this. The one thing I want you to know is this, that your family has an impact in your life. Somebody read that quote for me.
Sometimes we'll get so far away from your family, we'll think you're outside of influence rather than before you figure out what's happening, it'll be right beside you for the experience.
Yeah, don't you love that? So you think you're going to move out of your house and you're going to do whatever you want to do and you're going to do these things. Is there spelling errors? Sorry, that's what happens. I actually had to fix the very first slide too. So I did it really fast. Sometimes you get out of life, you get away from your family, you're saying it's not going to have an influence on me, and then right before you know it, you're doing exactly the same thing that your family was doing before, good or bad. But this person, I forgot his name. His name is Peter Collier. I love his stuff. It is amazing what we come to understand, that it just always catches up to us. No other relationships that you're going to find in your life that is going to shape you more, it's going to be your family. Does that scare you, or what does that do when I say those words?
Well, it's your choice whether you take the positive or negative side of the
Mhm.
tree, the family tree.
I agree, and I really want to agree, but sometimes it happens.
It's like your family's the default setting. So when you're not working on it, you just default back to it.
Well, that's a good point. So that's a default setting. I'm going to repeat that so anybody who's watching online will know what we're saying. It is it goes back. You kind of go back to what you know, right? It's kind of like you go back to your training. Whatever job you have, they build a foundation, and you can always go back to that training and that foundation, okay? On the unconscious level, okay? We are going to remember and we are going to reflect from the lessons that we have, okay? On a conscious level, we're going to be able to see that. But here's the other problem that I want to look at with you guys today, and we're going to talk about a little bit more. It's the unconscious level that we're going to talk about. What do you think I mean by that? On the conscious level, you can probably I can give you a piece of paper, and you will be able to say, here's everything about my family, here's the character traits, here's the things I like, here's the things I don't like, and you can see it. But what do you think I mean by the unconscious side of things?
When you're doing work with any kind of trauma, one thing they always say is the body remembers what the mind does not.
Sure.
And so you run into this where, like, when you get into stressful situations, your body takes you back to a time when something maybe didn't go right
Mm-hmm.
and has a physical reaction
Mm-hmm.
unless you're consciously aware of it.
Good. Very good. Anybody else? Yeah, in the back in the timeout corner.
If you're not intentional about it, it's just what you're used to. You see that a lot of times with people that grow up in dysfunctional families, abusers, alcoholics, and all that. They seek that out, not because they consciously want the troubles they grew up seeing as a child, but just because that's what's kind of comfortable. We all like comfort. If somebody sits in your seat in the pews, and you're like, what are you doing in my seat? This is my seat. I mean, we tend to always come back to what we're comfortable to.
Yeah.
And so if you don't think about it and aren't intentional about it, you're just doomed to repeat that in your life.
Yeah. Did you hear the reactions of the pew thing? Like this whole, everyone was like, whoa, that's that's truth right there. That is spiritual truth.
On the flip side, if you've seen your family evangelize and go out and meet people and do things, then when you are out in the world, you may also just fall into that pattern as well. So it doesn't always have to be the negative side of
No.
your family. You might be pulled up because of who your family was. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to get both sides of it. You're going to get the negative side, and you're also going to get the positive side, right? And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today, because what we want to really push into our family is really push the positive, maybe understand the negative, so that we can do away with that and build upon the positive, 100%. But the things, how we think, how you handle conflict, how you handle relationships, it is all comes from this. Some of the reasons of who you're going to marry is what you have seen and unconsciously understand from your family. Your politics, man. My mama was a Republican, my daddy was a Republican, and we go through the whole thing, and like, so why did you choose that party? Well, because. And I'm like, you're not using your own head. You know what I'm saying? And it's just comes through. It goes back to what you were saying at the back, is it is comfortable with us. Our families teach us who to trust, who to distrust. Our people, how to stay quiet, how to be in a social setting. They teach us feelings that are acceptable, that are appropriate, that are tolerable. They teach us all of these things. Hey, this one's a little harder. I need somebody to read it with a nice loud voice, and we're going to try to understand it. Go.
It is the family that patterns of emotional reactivity develop and interpersonal relationships are established. The pattern and color all subsequent relationships.
Put it into your own words.
Family is the cookie cutter. Our family is the cookie cutter.
Okay, our family is the cookie cutter.
Every cookie we make is patterned that same shape.
Good.
The way we react to the world is based on the way that we learn to react to the world with our family.
Very good. So the way that we're going to react to the world is how we've been taught how to react to the world. Very good. Anybody else? I love this emotional reactivity. Interpersonal relationships. How are you going to react emotionally? How are we going to react, and how are we going to handle these relationships that we're going to come into? And not just husband, wife, parent, child, any kind of these relationships, even within the church. A lot of these things are going to be established of what we've seen. One of the things that you were saying, the positive side of things, even this morning, I watched my dad walk through the entire auditorium and shake everybody's hand this morning. You know what I do? I try to do on Sunday mornings? I try to get around and shake people's hands. Is it because of my job, or is it because of something I've noticed for all my life? Well, maybe it's the positive side of things, and it's what I've been taught. And how do you connect with people emotionally? How do you connect with people on the physical side? How do you connect with people spiritually? It all comes down to the family. Okay. And a lot of times that we want to look at this is just one of those, it's really important. When do you think it begins? When do you think this training begins?
Before you realize it,
Say it nice and loud.
before you even realize it.
Before you realize it. Good. Anybody else?
Birth.
Birth? Who said birth? You did?
Before birth.
Oh, I didn't have before birth, but
Yeah, because
I didn't.
a lot of the way that you relate to other people, it's purely biological. And it's established before birth.
Interesting.
There's also studies, that we've learned through foster care. Trauma or feeling cared for happens within the womb. Because when they're born into crisis situations, they've already suffered through crisis before they've even been born.
That was not on my radar. What were we?
I was just gonna say, there's a famous study that was done in the 1950s that was, in a hospital in a NICU setting, and the babies were all isolated, and the doctor monitored that, like 50 babies. And he would not let the nurses do anything except for treat them, couldn't hold them, couldn't touch them.
Yeah.
All the babies started tanking.
Yeah.
Physically. And then he ordered 15 minutes of holding each baby about every 4 hours, and all the babies started getting better physically. Really famous study.
50s? That was right after World War II, wasn't it? Yeah, I've read that study. It's a really cool study. Really cool study. Yes, ma'am.
Something I learned with working with kids is you learn, these different, topics, that your children do for, starting from infancy on up.
Yeah.
My daughter, Sakura, she's 4 months old, she's in the trust versus distress stage, where she's establishing, because of who's around her, who she trusts, and who she doesn't trust. And that's why, right now, she's only 4 months, she'll go to anybody, but how my son was, when he reached 6 months, when he reached 8 months old is when he started, oh, I don't wanna go to auntie, I'm only staying with mom. I don't wanna go to grandma, I'm only staying with mom. And so, like, he saw the most, and then and eventually he started going to other people. The more he saw them, the more he was like, okay, I'll believe. And so that's
Yeah.
when he started developing his trust.
Right. It's incredible the different stages our kids go through, right? And what you're really showing us today is that it starts at a very young age. And what they're going to develop into. All right, this is what we're going to do really fast, and we're going to do some other stuff. Who took the clock down?
Seriously, it disappeared on Wednesday.
It was wrong.
What?
It was wrong.
It was what?
The time was wrong.
Okay. Well, see, you had the opportunity to put whatever time you wanted. Could have been done class. All right. Here's the 3 R's that every single family teaches. I do not care. I don't care if you're raised in the church, not in the church. Here are the 3 R's that you are going to teach your family. Okay? Are you with me? All right. Family rules. You are going to establish family rules. Okay? Give me a family rule that you know that was absolutely 100% established in your family.
When those street lights came on, you were home or house.
I forgot about that one, but that's right. When the street lights came on, we had to be home. In the summer, that was really late.
Yep.
Didn't want us at home. All right, anybody else?
Wash your hands before eating.
Wash your hands before you eat.
Yes.
Yep, that was probably. Did you make us do that too?
No.
Yeah, was probably a good idea. Anybody else?
Doors are open, you're at church.
Doors are open. You at church? Is that?
Sometimes when the doors weren't open, I'll just say.
Preacher son right there. Yeah.
We had a no tattling
No tattling rule.
in our family that was established because of a course, a Growing Kids God's Way course.
Uh-huh.
Probably the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Because it taught my kids to be problem solvers.
Problem solvers. Okay. No tattling. Yes.
I know you don't believe it can happen, but
It can. Yes, yeah. Anybody else?
If you're honest, you only get in trouble once. If you lie, you get in trouble twice.
Yes. Yes.
2 beatings. Good. I like it. I like it. That's good. Anybody else? Anybody over here? You have a rule in your family?
Don't pick your nose and eat it. That's,
You know, it's solid. You could be working with some infection going on there. You're right. Good call. Good call. Yes.
Call your parents or grandparents
Every
every weekend.
weekend?
On Sunday, yeah.
Call your grandparents and your parents every weekend on Sunday. Journey. So we all have written rules, right? You all have rules. We know them. There's a standard. I talked to you about that. In our family, there was a standard that we always held to. There were written rules. There's rules that we did. My parents raised 4 boys. There was rules. Wasn't a lot. They kept it simple, but there were rules, and we had to follow the rules. If you didn't follow the rules, then there was a problem. I'm not talking about those rules. I'm talking about the unwritten rules that we have taught our kids. What are some of the unwritten rules that we have taught our kids?
Don't raise your voice to mother.
Okay.
There's a lady waiting to sit at a restaurant. Like while you're waiting, you stand as a young man.
Okay. Okay. You stand. They sit. Good.
Authority is to be trusted.
Authority is to be trusted. So that wasn't a written rule. That was an unconscious rule. How did you teach it?
Oh, are you talking about the family that we grew up in, or the family that, like, the family that we?
Either one. Either one is fine.
The family that I grew up in, my parents never complained about, the people that they worked for or the people that they had to work with. And if we had a problem with someone, they never said, well, what did they do wrong? They said, what did you do?
Okay. Okay. I don't have a time. I just told it's 55. I got to move and group. Here are some of the unwritten rules that you guys actually, we teach and we don't realize we teach, okay? Don't reveal your true feelings. Probably not very positive. As growing up in boys, all boys, you don't cry. Why don't you cry? Because you're a boy. That's trash. That's a bad teaching. But we're taught that because nobody else does it. Never hide your emotions. So it might be always expressing them. That could be positive, could be negative on both sides. Always get your point across. Do you always have to get your point across? No, you really don't have to always get your point across. But there's sometimes we teach, you get your point across. They're going to know it. Well, hold on. That's probably not. Never raise your voice. Do everything you can to win an argument. Compromise whenever you can. Now, this is both sides, right? These are just lessons that we actually teach our family, but we're not saying the words, but they're seeing it through our actions. Trust others only after they've earned it. That's not biblical. Sorry, but it's not biblical. Never call attention to yourself. Let other know your accomplishments. So let others know all of your accomplishments. Put on a happy face. Right? It's Sunday morning. Put on your happy face. We just had a huge fight. No. Put on your happy face. We're going to church today. And everybody's going to know our family is perfect. Always be genuine. These are those things. I don't have a lot of time. If you can keep it short, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, it's interesting how if these things that your parents didn't actually teach you, and they come up when you meet your husband, and these things you didn't realize you were taught. Every one of those things came up when we were dating.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You gave it a short, you did a great job, because that's true. When you start meeting someone and you're like, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life, these things come up because they were taught something and you were taught something, and you come together and go, uh-oh, how do we handle this? And you may not know it for 1 or 2 years. You might handle it in 3 or 4, right? There's a reason 5, 6, 7 is the hardest years of your marriage, because you're dealing with this, to be honest with you. Family roles. Everybody is taught a family role. What do you mean by that? Okay. For me, my role in the family was the youngest. Got any youngest? What? Yeah, we're the best, right? We got away with everything. Loved it. Okay. I was my mama's favorite. I had a blast. I watched all my brothers get spankings, and then they griped and complained to my brother, my dad. You don't spank them. I'm like, I ain't stupid. I watched, and I know what not to do, right? But you also have, so you could be first child, right? You have all the pictures. I have nothing, right? But you have all the pictures, and there's albums of you. They're trying to figure out parenthood. So when the pacifier hit the ground, you cleaned it 15 times and then finally put it into their mouth. Me? I think there was doctor on mine. And they're like, ain't bad. And put it back in, right? So it's very different. Middle child. What's the middle child syndrome? You know what that is. So tell me what it is really fast. What's the middle child syndrome?
They're actually the best. They are the best.
You know what? Here's the truth. Dad, shut your ears. Everyone loves Dan, and it annoys me. He's one above me. He's number 3. And so, yeah, he's the favorite. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's not, but it was fine. My grandfather loved him. He came in for Christmas time one time, and he sits on the bed. Dan and I shared a room. Sits on Dan's bed. Man, he gave him a little bit of money, right? And I'm like, it's Christmas time. He comes to my bed, and I'm like, here's $1. I'm like, $1? And I just watched him give Dan a lot more. But here's some roles that we play. Our sibling role has a huge impact in our relationships. So if I'm the youngest and I'm the baby and I was cared for like that, that interaction with other families and how I interact with my wife, I expect certain things, right? Maybe she's the oldest and I'm the youngest, and when we come together, that doesn't compute in some other things. So you may say even, hey, I'm supposed to get what I want in every relationship or an only child, man, they're annoying, right? They have gotten everything. Well, they're used to getting everything, and you're like, I got hand-me-down clothes. Anybody got the hand-me-down clothes? I loved it. My brothers had style in the 70s, and so we had a great time. But here's some other roles that we play within the family. Are you a problem solver? Okay. You're always ready with a solution. Are you the victim? All right. Pulling compassion and sympathy from others. Are you the rescuer? Diving into situations for somebody else's safety. Are you the comedian? Ready with a joke? Comic relief? I actually had a girl break up with me in college because I was not serious enough for her. Well, Melissa, I don't need you either. So we're going to move on. Mediator. Serving as a bridge between others. What's your role in the family? Comforter, facing reality and calling it as you see it. Oh, I'm sorry, not comforter. No, that's not supposed to be. Healer, administrating healing to emotional wounds. A secret keeper. Now, that's really bad too if you have to do this. Holding a confidence tight and safe. Are you a secret keeper? These roles are really things that you learn within your family of who you are and what you're going to be. And then these things are going to also go into your family environment as well, of who you are within the family. And it's going to impact your relationships. The last R is family relationships. You're going to teach how family relationships work. So the birth role is extremely important, but the family relations, one of the most powerful things that you have in your repertoire as raising your family is your example. How does the saying go? Monkey see, monkey do. So what we show our family and within our relationships. So just a really easy example of how I'm a husband to my wife is going to demonstrate to my son how he's going to treat not only his wife, but who else? Mother, daughter, women. Can I just make an overall women? So if I show love, respect, and honor, and I lift her up, what's my son going to do for every woman that he comes in contact with? She's not an object. She's not to be used. She's to be honored, loved, and respected. He'll open the door probably for her, right? He's going to look at her and go, you're something special God made if I do that to my wife. You see, understand? Now, if I treat my daughter that way, I mean, it just goes on and on. You see what I'm saying? How we treat one another within our relationships of our family makes a huge role. Do you guys want to say anything on this? Anybody else wants, you can say whatever you want. You're good. I got time. We're
I
good.
saw a video recently, and it really put in perspective my relationship with my children.
Mm-hmm.
It said that children are never raised by the same parents.
Always, say it again.
Children are never raised by the same parent.
Okay, go.
So the way that you relate to one child is completely different to the way you relate to the other child. You will treat one child one way, one child another way, regardless of what you want to do.
Yeah.
That relationship is innately different for each and every child.
Yes, yeah, good. I like that. Yeah, good. And it's hard to do that too. At some point when you have like a whole bunch of them, you're just like, it's a herd mentality. You're just trying to figure it out, right? But yeah, every kid is different. Every kid is different. It's gonna come into the lesson today. Good job. Anybody
Well,
else?
not only is every child different, but you grow as well.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
and some, for my two kids, there's only 2 years difference, but how many years is there between you and your oldest brother?
oldest one?
Yes.
Dad, how many years between Chris and I? Huh? 68, 76.
Yeah, you're
8 years.
8 years.
Okay, so there's a lot of maturity that happens with parents as well in those 8 years, and you learn things and you
Yes.
discover more things about yourself, and so
Yes.
lots of things change just with time.
Yes. Hey, let me ask you this question. Do you wish you had the knowledge now as a father than you did when they were first born?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I thought about that. I've been thinking about this all week, right? Actually, the last couple of weeks, I knew the Sunday was coming. And I thought, man, if I was armed with the knowledge I have now when they were babies, a whole new world. It would have been amazing, right? But I was just trying to figure it out when you're young and dumb, right? That's all it is.
But it's also experiential because I hear so many want to wait to have babies and you don't learn it until you have them. So I don't even think that it's really age related or anything like that. I mean, you kind of experiment with the first one and then you have 4 completely different personalities. So it's also like multi-personality parenting. You just got to switch for each one.
Yeah. Good. Anybody else?
You also don't stop. You're still impacting your children.
Always.
And
Always.
they're learning that, and that's the process of it. And it's still your first time today, right? To be a grandpa, to be a dad at this age. I mean,
Yeah. It's a good day today.
Yeah.
And yeah, you never stop parenting because now I can pour the knowledge I do have. I'm going to try to pour that into my kids now and say, hey, this is where I messed up. This is where I didn't mess up. And hopefully they can see the growth, spiritual growth in my life and growth so they can use that for them and arm their children as well. Good stuff.
also, my oldest reminded me that I was harder on him than my youngest, so I've started trying to be harder on my youngest.
How's that working?
Yeah.
Different children and it's not working the same.
Well, you got 7, so we're going to cut you slack. You do what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot too. My sister, my 16-year-old sister was dating and I was like, I wasn't allowed to date until, in fact, my dad said, you're not allowed to date until I'm dead. So I was just like, I wasn't allowed to date. I chose when I started dating, I started dating when I was 20 because I was out of the house and all that other stuff. Well, not out of the house, but
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm 18, I'm over 18 and all this, but, my sister, my youngest sister started dating at 16 and I was just baffled. I was like, my mom never let any one of her kids date until you, so what?
Yep.
I was like, Mom, what's with this?
And that's what happens, right? The rules kind of slack a little bit. Okay. And yeah, what I want to tell you is this, bottom line is this, what you create within your family is what's going to be reflected in their life later on, right? Okay, I need to talk about this. I really didn't want to. Oh, that bottom one did not come out as well as I wanted. But this is something that is something that is a huge part of society today and even part of the church as well. Okay. I'm gonna let these guys walk out, then we'll talk. Because it's hard for you guys to pay attention. You're like kindergartner sometimes. Okay. What happens if your parents are divorced? How many are you come from divorced families? Okay. So this is real. Even within the church, it's very real. There's a couple things I want to talk about. I apologize, it's not very bright on this. If we could turn that light off, it's one of the right-hand light switch on that wall over there. Maybe it'll help out a little bit. So how do you handle parents being divorced? Because what happens within divorce for the husband-wife relationship is called a living death. You got to live with it throughout your whole life because there's other moments that's going to come up, weddings, or kids, or grandkids, and stuff like that. It doesn't really go away. But as a child, divorce can have a huge effect on your relationships when you come into your marriage, and also your relationship between your parent and a child as well. Here are some of the things that I would tell you to do so that this does not hang in the background of your mind and bring negativity but positivity to your relationship. So how do you handle these things? This is the first thing I would tell you. I would sit down with either of your parents individually and just kind of ask for what happened. Now, here's the thing. This is not a time of judging the other person and putting that other person down. You're walking through the experience and you're trying to understand what the situation is about. Okay? So I'm not, and if your child comes to you and does this, again, I'm not putting down, I'm divorced. I'm not going to put down my ex-wife, but I'm going to say, this is what happened. Here are the facts, and allow them to talk and talk about that experience as well. Okay. The next thing is in our lives, a lot of times we hold on to things a little bit deeper. If you notice, what we've talked a lot about today was an unconscious side of things, what's kind of buried down a little bit deeper. I would look for unresolved anger in your life. If you guys get angry at the drop of a hat, or you have emotions that kind of take control, I would go back and go, is this from the divorce? Is this from this broken relationship? And because of that, we have anger and unresolved emotions. And this is something that you need to kind of go back and kind of look at, and you can work through those things. Beware of conflict avoidance. You don't want to have any conflict. You don't want to have a problem. You want to make everything okay all the time. What's the problem with that?
Nothing ever gets resolved.
Nothing gets resolved.
You fail all the time.
You fail all the time. Yeah, failure's right there.
It comes back bigger.
Say it.
It comes back bigger.
It comes back bigger. Good.
There's still anger and resentment.
There's still anger. There's still resentments. Guys, conflict is not bad. You hear those words? Welcome to life. You are not always going to get along. There are days my wife and I are not friends, but I love her, but we ain't friends that day. It's called conflict, and it's called humans, and it's okay to work through difficult things. You actually become stronger through conflict. And there's actually, when you read all of the studies, conflict brings intimacy within any kind of relationship. Friendships, husband, wife, parent, child. That's what all the things say. But what we do a lot of times is avoidance, because we don't want it to happen to us. Watch out for sagging self-confidence. This is one of those moments we kind of look at ourselves and we say, man, it's my fault. It's my fault. As a divorced parent, I had to figure out and I had to see and realize that a lot of the blame my kids took on to themselves. And it was one of those things that you have to figure out. That is not their fault. Sometimes divorce happens for different reasons, and it happens. But that child takes on a lot of guilt and a lot of reasons they come up with saying, was it me? And if that's not dealt with, it really hurts relationships that you're going to come in contact with, whether dating, parenting, or husband-wife. Okay, you have become very uncomfortable. Are you okay? Yes? No? Are you all right? These are things we have to talk about, and this is some of the things that we do not talk about as a church. Okay? We want to talk about happy things. You want me to come in here and tell you the 10 things that make you a healthy marriage. Here's the deal. Most families are dysfunctional. Can you name me one functional family in the Bible? And don't use Jesus and Joseph and Mary. Am I right about this? Did Jesus' brothers believe that he was the Son of God? No. Dysfunction. Okay? So we have to figure these things out.
Also, his parents forgot him in the temple.
Yeah, hey man, it's okay to forget one kid. You got more? Have you talked to the Lewises? Like, if they come home with 75% of them, they're actually feeling good about it, okay? I wish they were here for that one, because Rachel was hilarious. She's like, I got more. It's not a big deal. This is real, and I want you to think about these things. Now, what we're trying to do is figure out a little bit of a foundation. Your homework is over here. We're going to quit now, and you can turn on the lights. That'd be great. You got homework on the table. I want you to run by. Some of you were not here last week. I only have a handful of last week's stuff, and work through it. Now, what we do in class, what your homework is, it really walks you through what we've done in class, but it walks you through it on an individual level, or you can do it as a family, okay? And there's just 4 exercises. I'm going to tell you this. Class is going to be good. Next week, we're going to talk about the opposite sex. So we should come out totally confused, is my goal.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, 2 weeks from now, we will do that. I'm sorry. I'm gone to Red River. Thank you, Sally. Welcome to schedule. So this will actually walk you through everything that we've talked about. If you do the homework, this class becomes better. If you're dating, anybody dating in here? I was just wondering if you were or not. Are you still dating? You still dating? Obviously, you're here. You can't be bold. Yes, I like her. And I would tell you this as well. If you want to do it separately with your husband and wife or the one that you're dating right now, it actually is really good. Do it separately and come back and then talk about it together. It's really interesting when you come back and go, oh, my personality is, if I did this with Sally and she said, I like this, this, and this, I would say, because I'm the person that kind of just goes along with it, make sure everything's okay. I would go, oh, absolutely, honey, I love that. I'm going to do it by myself. She's going to do it by herself. Then we're going to come together and we're like, oh. And it helps a lot with our marriage, okay? So that's what I would encourage you to do. But if you do the homework, I think you get a whole lot more out of the class. Are we good? Love you guys. Great class. I know it's heavy, but it's good stuff. We need to talk about it. Love you guys. Get out of here.
I was gonna be like,